My name is Nekpe Obasogie. Today I'm going to be doing analysis of the Chinese people and their lucrative businesses in Africa, specifically the issue of illegal mining of gold in different parts of the continent. Beside the issue of illegal businesses in Africa, the Chinese people have continued to demonstrate lack of respect for Black Africans, both in their country and in Africa. Few years ago, the government of Uganda ordered the arrest of some Chinese investors for illegal mining of gold in the country. During the confrontation, the Chinese investors became angry and assaulted Uganda government officials. Just take a look.
Why do you fight? Please. Why do you fight? Why do you fight us?
Police officer.
Minister. Leave the minister. Fighting the minister of Uganda. Yes. Now why are you fighting? Where is the minister? Wait. Leave the fight.
According to some Africans, the Chinese illegal activities in Africa and lack of respect for Black Africans are rooted in the government's reliance on China for loans. In Uganda, for instance, the national debt stood at over $10 billion in 2018, nearly a third of it owed to China. Some Africans are now conscious of Chinese neo-colonial ideology in the continent. Resistance has been seen in other African countries. Anger in Zambia peaked last year with street protests and online campaign to say no to China. A Chinese bagfish meal plant in Gambia drew protests this year over alleged pollution and overfishing in the country. Sand mining in Africa is a problem which stimulates environmental issues and land degradation. Chinese nationals are not in Africa because they want to develop the continent, but to milk Africa's resources. According to some Africans, the relationship between China and Africa means the exploitation of our natural resources, land degradation, and the destruction of our wildlife. The question is, can the Chinese people exploit any country in Africa and establish a mining site without the support of Africans themselves? In most cases, Africans are employed to carry out these lucrative businesses for the Chinese people. Few weeks ago, some Chinese nationals were arrested in Nigeria, Zamfara, for illegal mining. During the arrest, Nigerian police traced the Chinese nationals to a house where a Nigerian girl was working as a cook for the Chinese people. Just take a look.
Zamfara State Commissioners of Police Usman Nagogo led the operation to the hideouts of the Chinese nationals who are engaging in illegal mining at the Kwali mining site. The police stormed the house where the foreign nationals are residing at Nasara Bukulu community in Bukulu local government of Zamfara State and arrested two of them. Also arrested alongside the foreigners was a Nigerian girl. She is said to be a cook and cleaner for the foreign illegal miners. The arrest of the two foreigners indicates that it is not only Nigerians who are operating illegally at the Kwali mining site in Zamfara State, but foreigners as well.
Chinese illegal mining in Africa is causing serious environmental issues in different parts of the continent. Few months ago, some Chinese nationals were arrested in connection to illegal mining in Apaprama Forest in Ghana. The forest is said to be under the watch of Forestry Commission. Surprisingly, the commission claimed that they were not aware of such mining site inside the forest. Even though the mining site is very obvious, the commission claimed that they were not aware of such activities inside the forest. Just take a look.
In the last 5 days, a bold and relentless enforcement of the ban on small-scale mining has led to arrest of 20 Chinese nationals. Apraman Forest Reserve sites are right here. The Forestry Commission says it had no evil It did not see anybody bringing in heavy equipment. This has lasted for close to a year. No government official got wind of it, or nobody was prepared to even face them.
Nigerian security operatives have failed to parade Nigerians who are connected with these Chinese nationals and illegal mining in the country. Few days ago, some Chinese nationals were also arrested in Osun State for illegal mining case. Just take a look.
To sanitize this sector, it was important to carry out this raid, and as you can see, we have quite a whole lot of these Chinese people carrying out this illegality in Osun.
We are not going to allow them to destroy Nigeria because of money. So JTF is battle ready. Amoteku we are battle ready. Above all, those who are into illegal mining should desist from such.
Going to Gambia now. Like what I said earlier, the Chinese people have little or no respect for black Africans, both in China and in Africa. Few months ago, some Gambia authorities accused Chinese nationals for establishing a factory inside Nambia forest without license. During the confrontation, the Chinese people did not grant journalists interviews, even allowing them to enter the factory.
A program officer at the Environmental Legislation Unit of the National Environment Agency, Lamin Samate, revealed that his agency received an application from the Chinese, which stated the factory would recycle all tires to make fuel. Mr. Samate is also reported to have said that no environmental approval was granted to the Chinese and that their application was incomplete. During our visit to Nyambai Forest, the Chinese would neither let us in nor grant us an interview, but we found evidence of environmental damage.
It is very obvious that the Chinese people are promoting white supremacy in Africa, while many black Africans in China are facing racial discrimination in the country. Some videos surfaced on social media a few weeks ago showing the racial discrimination of black Africans in China, especially the case of some Nigerians that were paraded by Chinese authorities for illegal quarantine. However, the crew members that flew the flight that brought Chinese doctors to Nigeria refused quarantine in Nigeria.
Moving further on the news, Chinese doctors, how 3 airline crew members disappeared from Lagos quarantine center. 3 out of the 17 pilots and flight attendants who flew 14 Chinese medical doctors and medical supplies from China to Nigeria on Wednesday have boycotted the Lagos quarantine center provided by the Lagos state government. The crew, who flew Air Peace Boeing 777-200ER jumbo jet from China, landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The 17 pilots and flight attendants later on Wednesday proceeded to Lagos to be quarantined by the Lagos state government in line with an agreement the Ministry of Health reached with the carrier's management.
Majority of the Chinese nationals who are engaging in lucrative businesses in Africa will go back to China to invest heavily with the resources they accumulated illegally in Africa. Just take a look.
Wen Daming, who recently returned for more than a year as a mine worker in Ghana, has built a new house for himself and another one for his family members.
Nebo TV is available for sponsorship. Advertise your business, organization, and products on Nebo TV. Contact our representative in Canada and Nigeria with the phone numbers and email address on the screen.